Thank you so much for that introduction. And I work with Josiah Venture. So Starra knows JV. So we're a ministry that seeks to equip churches to work with young leaders throughout Central and Eastern Europe to reach young people. And so Zala, who you had 2 days ago, is also one of my colleagues that works alongside me. And I've invited 3 other people to join me in this network today. And the reason is this: within my organization, on my teams, I have the nickname Techie Terry. And it's not meant as a compliment. I'm actually technologically very limited. But there are other people in our organization that do a fantastic job of meeting, working with people through technology. So I've invited a couple of those people today. One is Stoicha from Serbia. And he'll share about a very exciting online ministry that he has in Serbia. Another is Stephanie. She's from the States, but she serves in Slovenia. Sarah knows her well, and she'll be sharing just how to do a mixture of using technology, but also in-person disciple making. And then my wife will be joining us. She's from the Czech Republic. She is by far the better looking of the two of us. So you can, there you go, there's my wife there. And she, in the last year, has been discipling new believers, people that came to Christ during COVID. And so she's been discipling new believers in a mixture of online and offline world. So she'll be sharing about how she's been doing that. And I just realized now that, the people that are closest to us. So that was one thing that Paul did. He had a restricted circumstance, which we're all experiencing now, and he moved to a new mission field. But then the other thing he did, which one of you mentioned already, I think earlier, he wrote letters and he continued discipling from a distance. And some of those letters were to entire churches, and some of those letters were to individuals. So you've got Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. He kept reaching out to churches. But then with Philemon, he was reaching out to an individual. So he continued to do what he did with a new medium. And that's pretty much what we're called to do right now in this digital age. And we have a barrier in some ways with COVID. We're in quarantine. Sometimes things are open, sometimes things are shut. But we also have an opportunity. We have opportunities that Paul never had. What he had was paper and pen, and he actually had to have somebody else write for him oftentimes. And I imagine that he didn't have much access to paper, whereas we have this thing here. And I call this the day the world changed. The day the world changed. So what are some of the ways that you guys would say that the iPhone or phones have changed our world since June 29th, 2007, when Steve Jobs held up the first iPhone? What has changed? So you can market yourself worldwide. You now have a global platform, but what does that also mean? Oftentimes now we don't know who we're meeting anymore. So last week I was on a yacht for 5 days with 5 complete strangers I had never met before in my life before I turned up at the yacht. And so I looked at all their Facebook profiles to find out as much information as I could. And I had a lot of thoughts about who those people are based on their Facebook profiles. And they were actually quite different when I met them in person. And so sometimes, people can now become 2 or 3 different people, and you never know which person you're meeting. And sometimes with young people, they don't know who they are, because they're creating one persona online, then they got their home persona, and then their friends persona, lots of different things. Steve also said information overload. And that means that it's hard to discern what is true and what is not true. Jay, you've written cameras are now everywhere. Yes, our lives are much less private. So those are just some of the things that are now a reality in our world. When bored, we tend to scroll endlessly. Yes, we waste a lot of time. Well, I waste a lot of time on this thing. Do you guys waste time too? Come on, let's be honest. If there's something I really don't want to do at work, I might just be like, oh, just check my messages. And about 2 hours later, I remember that I'm sitting in my office. So Yep, I just checked my email. Sorry, there you go. So there's a lot of change that is happening, and some of this is good and bad. So I'm just going to share some of the things that I wrote about with those changes. So you've got, for example, everything is available. That's a good change in many ways. My preference is no longer limited by geography. Now that's a great thing. I can buy anything from anywhere. It also means I can go to church anywhere in the world that I want, which raises the question, is an online church a true church? So everything is available anywhere. So what else do we have? Everything is personalized. It's all about me. And in some ways that can be healthy, but in many ways that can be very unhealthy, because then we become very, very picky. And everything is convenient, which sometimes means don't make me work hard to find something. I don't know if you guys have been impacted by this. In the olden days, I used to go to libraries and look for information and spend a long time looking for information. Now, if I can't find something within about 2 minutes on Google, I give up looking. You guys do that too? Some of you are nodding. Okay, thank you for your honesty. So don't make me work hard to find something. Everything is immediate. Don't make me wait. Oh boy, don't make me wait. And everything is true. Well, you know, at least it's true for me. I'll just take this bit of information and this bit of information and this bit of information and put it all together, and that's my truth. And that also happens with faith. I'll just take this little thing that I read there and this little article I read here and that person's opinion, because that is what I want to do. And I'll put it all together. And now this is what I believe. And don't you dare tell me that what I believe is wrong, because it's all about me. So that creates certain challenges for us, but it also creates some opportunities. So very, very, very quickly, what are some of the challenges from a disciple-making point of view that we can now find raised by this digital world? Now, this is my wife, Hanka.
Hi, everyone.
And this year, she's been discipling new believers. And so this is also something extra, discipling people that have been believers their whole lives or raised in the church or have been believers for a while, when they understand I should be doing this to a degree. That's one thing. But we had a lot of teenagers come to Christ last summer. And Hank has been discipling those young people for the last year. So what are some of the things that you can share about discipling new believers?
Okay. Well, from my experience, this year was actually great for new believers because they had all the time in the world to read the Bible and pray, right? From their bedrooms. So actually that has been a great change for me to see, is kids who are willing to take that extra mile in reading the Bible and really not just reading it, but also just discussing it and wanting more. So with our group, there are 5 students, and with our group, we would meet once a week. We would meet on Zoom. And I was the one to always just end it the first, because they would just keep going on and on and on. And I am a teacher, so I'm the one who spends most of my time online. And I would be like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm done with screen. But what was nice is the restrictions here in the Czech Republic were quite harsh, but you could still meet in person, one-on-one outside. And so we would have a small group every week on Zoom where we would read some basic materials, read from the Bible, share what our struggles are, pray for each other. And actually, the one neat thing was how open the teenagers are, you know, so a lot of them struggle with things in their families. And so what's nice is, even as the week progresses, you see on our messenger group, you see different prayer requests or just shout out saying, hey, this is cool, you know, you were praying for my brother and this is what happened, or hey, this is a praise song that I listened to this morning and I love it, so I just feel like sharing it. So you have that once a week Zoom Bible study, but what's kind of cool is that the group kind of lives together throughout the week via Messenger. On top of that, sometimes I manage to go for a walk one-on-one with them. That's been really nice because I am not a technology type of a person. And so those one-on-one times outside have actually been very great. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share.
Well, I think that's fine. I think one other thing is that even on Zoom, you've had the young people leading the Bible studies themselves as well. You've been using materials and equipping them to lead themselves. So it wasn't just a question of giving them as little as possible, but you've actually been taking great steps forward with those young people.
Mm-hmm. And also one other thing that I actually really enjoyed, Stephanie, what you said about baking and dropping off the cookies. I mean, that always helps and works, right? If you make the effort and make something, bake something. I mean, I made prayer bracelets for the kids and bought some Christian books, just different. I thought of, okay, what is it that they would enjoy reading other than the Bible? And then I dropped off the packages with them, you know, and so they still, even today, the girls are downstairs as we speak, and all of them are wearing their prayer bracelets, and they exchange the books because each and every one of them got a different one, so they, you know, swapped them. So every little extra thing really counts. I would say more than the amount of Bible verses that you manage to cram into them.
And that goes with the personalization. So you might want to bake, but some of you might feel like, I'm not a baker, and my men will not appreciate getting muffins. But in this new world with everything being personalized, it's important to think about who are we discipling and what is special for them, what would speak to them individually, because those small little things can have a great big impact.